Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Seattle Seahawks in today's video. 30-24 victory yesterday on the road against the Tennessee Titans. We're going to talk about all of it. Don't worry, that final score was not even close to what we watched. It wasn't even close. Seattle, I never felt like they were going to lose this game. I never felt like it got close. Yeah, they dominated the Tennessee Titans. And I wasn't nervous, I wasn't skeptical for you guys heading into this game, but it was on my mind playing a divisional prime, I guess it wasn't prime time, but you're playing the divisional game on the road in Los Angeles. Very, very physical anytime you play a divisional opponent, especially these Los Angeles Rams. And, you know, Darnold threw 4 picks, but I'm just thinking about wear and tear on bodies, you know, just the mental toughness, you know, flying all the way to the East Coast, coming off this difficult loss. I never felt like Seattle was going to lose it, but I did kind of figure when you have these divisional games and then you go play somebody else, you know, it might be a little bit slower. And so for me, like, you know, the game started a little bit slow for Seattle. You know, they only had a field goal on their first possession, whatever. There were a couple of offensive penalties. Like, there were numerous false starts, especially in the first half, where I was like, geez. So I just think it's an impressive win. You know, I think any win in the NFL is impressive. And when you look at the Tennessee Titans, they're going to upset somebody so soon. They're 1-10 now. They're just waiting for it. They almost upset, you know, Houston. I think it was last week. They almost upset, or they were at least close right before their bye week, kind of around a month ago now, against the Los Angeles Chargers. My point is, Cam Ward looked pretty solid. He's a solid quarterback. It's just, you know, the roster around him isn't the best. But I think every Seahawks fan watching this will take a victory, especially coming off that loss to the Rams. You're now 8-3, and the headliner is Jay Hassan. He's the best wide receiver in football. 8 catches, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's got 1,313 yards on the season. He is now the all-time single season leader. There we go, surpassing DK Metcalf's record from 2020. He's also on pace to break the Seahawks single season reception record that he tied last year. He's on track to break the NFL all-time single season receiving yard record set by Calvin Johnson with the Detroit Lions at 1964 back in 2012. So he's the best wide receiver in football on paper this season, and when you watch it, he's the best wide receiver in football. It's pretty crazy. Now, before we get any further into this video, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. As always, post a bunch of Seahawks content over on this channel. Apologize for the lack of clips from yesterday's game, but we'll get another Seahawks video out to you guys before next week against, I believe it's the Atlanta Falcons. Oh no, it's the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold's old team. So looking at that game, Tennessee, like, first drive, they got a field goal. It took like 8 minutes. You know, when I look at this game, Seattle put up 30 points, right? They're still the third best team in scoring, putting up 29.4. Seattle only had the football for 22 of these minutes. They put up 30 points in 22 minutes. So I really liked that. And Darnold looked good. I don't think he looked great. I definitely don't think he looked bad. 16-24, 244 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. You know, he did have 2 throws that could have been intercepted, but that's usually what happens in football games. So anyways, the Seahawks came into this game averaging pretty much 29, around 30 points, and they just did it again. They put up 30, even without... There was nothing crazy on offense except for the deep 63-yard shot to Jackson Smith-Njigba. What I did like to see is Ken Walker. Mike McDonald said he wants to see more Ken Walker. He says he deserves more workload, and that's what we saw. Not really to the level I would like, but especially with Ken, I just want health. 11 carries. He had a combined 106 yards with Charbonnet and Ken Walker, but Ken ran the ball 11 times for only 11 times for 71 yards. That's a 6.5 yard per carry. Especially in that second half, Seattle put up 14 points in the third quarter. Ken Walker was a big reason why. He was just pretty much a first down machine. And we saw only 6 carries from Charbonnet for 35 yards. He also had a nice touchdown, 5.8 yards per carry. Ken Walker also had 3 catches for 30 yards. So Ken had over 100 yards from scrimmage. They had 114 rushing yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. That's right around their season average. The only really bad I guess there's only really two bad Seahawks offensive statistics. It's turnovers per game, or just turnovers in general, and rushing. The rushing's not that bad. They're putting up 116 rushing yards per game. That's middle of the pack, 16th in the entire National Football League. And I would just love a game where Ken gets, 20 carries, Zach gets 10, and this kind of was the blueprint for a game like that. But like I said, Tennessee, they just had the football for so long. Seattle was very efficient as far as at least getting into enemy territory. They were only 2 of 4 in red zone efficiency, 1 of 2 in goal-to-goal efficiency, and Sam Darnold had this quote after the game: "We've just got to finish when we get in the red zone." That's the story today. And there are some operational things we can clean up, some penalties. So the offense settled for field goals on 2 early red zone possessions. And then Zach Charbonnet in the third quarter really pushed that lead to 30-10. Seattle went 2 of 7 on third down attempts, which wasn't the best, but I do like that they avoided turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles from Sam Darnold in the entire offense. And then, the offensive line had 3 false starts. There was also a delay of game penalty from Sam Darnold that he took accountability for after the fact. But I liked what I saw, man. You won a game on the road, 30 points. That's not an easy feat in the NFL. Defensively, I think the only really real reason this game got close, they're missing their linebackers. Ernest Jones, I think he's missed 3 of the last 4 games for you guys. There was also no Tyrese Knight in this game, so you saw backups in Drake Thomas, who's had a really excellent season. He had 10 total tackles. He had a great game. And then you saw practice squad legend Patrick O'Connell come up from the practice squad. He had 9 total tackles and a sack. He only got burnt 1 time. I think it was 4th down conversion for Cam Ward. And after that, O'Connell denied a touchdown. He just had a phenomenal game. And, there's no Julian Love still. The Seahawks defense, it's been banged up all season at specific points. More so that secondary early on in the season. Cannot wait for Julian Love to come back. But Nick Ward continues to do his thing as a rookie, 8 total tackles. The Seahawks as a team had 4 total sacks. You saw Byron Murphy get in there. He's leading the team with 6.5 on the season. You saw Derek Hall's first sack of the season. Leonard Williams, I believe it was his 6th of the season. We already mentioned Patrick O'Connell's sack. Can't speak today. And one thing I want to end this video on, Tyreek Woolen, the dude is balling out. Since all the trade rumors from, a month or 2 ago, trade deadline, whatever, Riq Woolen has been playing absolutely lights out. He's not giving up big-time plays. He is doing his job. He's doing his thing. And the Seahawks defense is loaded, man. It's absolutely loaded. Still good for 7th in the NFL, giving up only 19.7 points per game. So thank you for watching today's just kind of rapid reaction, riff and raff for the Seahawks victory over Tennessee. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. You guys know the deal. And let me know your thoughts from that victory and the 8-3 Seahawks down below. Peace.